Hi, I'm Bea Thorpe, Local Food Systems Coordinator.
And I'm Sarah Bennett, the Director for School and Community Nutrition Programs at the Virginia Department of Education. We connected with many of you at the Virginia PTA conference at the beginning of June, and we wanted to take another opportunity to share our work in school nutrition and farm to school with you.
We encourage you to connect, partner, and find ways to support your school's nutrition and food service operations, as well as explore other ideas where your partnerships can really make an impact.
School meals truly play a critical role in student health, their performance in and out of school, and their overall well-being.
And yet, many families are not aware of the opportunities available to shape, support, and elevate their school division's nutrition programs.
So to start, I'm going to lay a brief foundation of the federal child nutrition programs, including Virginia's impact and how the programs work.
And then I'll jump in and share about our farm to school programs and some ideas we have that can help you get involved.
Thanks for being here. Our latest complete data shows that school and community nutrition programs continue to serve millions and millions of meals across the Commonwealth every year. In school year 24-25, over 66 million breakfasts, 116.5 million lunches, 3 million after school meals, and 4.5 million summer meals were served. And students are receiving meals just like the picture shown here. In fact, all of the pictures we're showing you today are photos taken by our office when we're out in the field visiting programs. For a lot of children, the foods they eat in school are the most nutritious foods they have access to. The Child Nutrition Programs support meals and snacks served to children in schools, child care summer programs, and other institutional settings in all 50 states, D.C., and the U.S. territories. These programs are administered by the federal government, the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Administration, which provides federal aid to state agencies, often state departments of education, for distribution to school districts and other participating institutions. PTA child nutrition programs are the National School Lunch Program that also contains the after-school snack service and the fresh fruit and vegetable program that is authorized under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, established in 1946. The School Breakfast Program, established under the Child Nutrition Act of 1966, the Child and Adult Care Food Program, Summer Food Service Program, and the Special Milk Program. The Virginia Department of Education administers all of these programs at the state level, with the exception of the Child and Adult Care Food Program, in which we are only responsible for administering the after-school at-risk meals component. The Department of Health manages the CACFP for child care, family daycare homes, and adult care centers. Being that programs are federally authorized and administered, there are rules for operating the programs. They are highly regulated and are frequently monitored for program integrity and compliance. That's a lot of our job here at the state agency. Those rules are outlined in the Code of Federal Regulations for Agriculture in Parts 210, 220, 226, 225, and 215. There are also additional state regulations found at 8 VA C20, procurement regulations found in 2 CFR Part 200, because food service programs do a lot of purchasing of goods and services, and of course, there are local health code regulations. At the Department of Education, we help school divisions and program operators follow the rules, and they have local discretion of how they choose to operate, such as in determining their own menus and food offerings and their meal service styles. Child nutrition programs offer several benefits. First, they support children's learning and academic achievement by making sure children who attend school, including preschool or daycare all day, are well nourished and ready to learn, grow, and thrive. The programs support low-income families by offering free or reduced price meals to qualifying students, and they ensure that all students, regardless of income, have access to nutritious meals while they're in school. The nutrition programs also play an important part in sustaining American agriculture. USDA provides operators with funds for U.S. commodities, including for meats, grains, fruits, and vegetables, and they've established rules to help schools purchase more local foods. This is important because the money school divisions receive for meal reimbursements are then spent on foods, goods, and services here in the United States and our local economy. The programs help improve the health of the general population by educating children and families about the benefits of having a balanced and healthy diet. The requirements for school meals are based on the goals of the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, a set of evidence-based recommendations that outline the framework for healthy eating patterns to meet nutrient needs, promote health, and prevent disease. And lastly, these programs offer people in need regular access to healthy food and reduce hunger in our nation. This extends to ensuring military readiness, the foundation for why these programs were established for our next generation. The programs work to address both hunger and obesity that have real impacts on overall health. Administratively, the USDA Food and Nutrition Administration administers the programs at the national level. They establish policies, program guidance, and distribute funds to state agencies, amongst other duties and responsibilities. The state agencies enter into an agreement with the USDA to administer the programs at the state level. States reimburse schools and programs for the meals they serve to students, as well as ensure program integrity and provide training and technical assistance. School food authorities are the responsible individuals at your school division who operate the programs. This is usually the school nutrition or food service department. They manage an agreement with us at the state agency to operate the programs within all the schools. So again, quickly, how it all works in the big picture. First and foremost, Congress must appropriate the funds. When there are disagreements and government shutdowns, this is when you typically start hearing about the possibility of programs being affected. USDA then distributes quarterly funding to state agencies. The school divisions enter into an agreement with the state agency. Then the school serves meals and snacks, tracks meal counts based on eligibility category, and receive monthly reimbursements for meals and snacks served to students. Reviews or audits are conducted on an established frequency to monitor program compliance and integrity. So what's in this agreement with the state agency I keep talking about? Well, lots of things. Your school nutrition or food service director and their team have big jobs to fill when it comes to their operations in receiving federal funds. It is more than buying, making, and serving food. This is a list of topic areas you'll find if you dug into those codes of federal regulations I mentioned in the beginning, including planning menus that meet requirements for calories and fat, sodium, and added sugars, and that minimum amounts of each meal component are served at each meal. I'll name a few others, such as maintaining a separate food service account that is required to be nonprofit, strict procurement requirements to ensure fair and open competition, providing annual staff training, and maintaining all records that support their program operations. Where can you fit in to help support these programs? We recommend starting here. You can learn more about these specific areas. Get to know the nutrition standards and meal patterns. Most don't know that a lot of the foods you see on your school menu are specially formulated for child nutrition programs. This is a multi-billion-dollar food industry. So a lot of the foods you see on your child's breakfast and lunch menus have been specially formulated to be made with whole grains, lower sugar, lower sodium, etc. In most instances, they are not the same products you find in your grocery store. Even the flavored milk is required to have significantly less sugar than the flavored milks you find in your grocery aisles. You can advocate for greater meal access. What I mean by this are the different types of service styles. How does your school ensure that all students have access in a good amount of time to eat their breakfast and lunch? Is your school offering grab and go or breakfast in the classroom? Do the secondary schools offer a second chance breakfast, allowing students to grab a breakfast, perhaps in the hallways, later in the morning when they might start to feel hungry? You can advocate for ways to increase the number of students who are choosing to eat meals at school The more students that participate, the more reimbursement and the more opportunity to strengthen the programs and food offerings. You can get involved in the local wellness policy. This is a required committee that meets on an established frequency that sets school and program goals for nutrition, nutrition education, and other health and wellness policies. It is open to the public. And our last suggestion is understanding what we call smart snacks and competitive foods. This includes all foods and beverages that are sold to students during the school day. It is important to know that food sales cannot compete with school nutrition program sales and meal times. Remember, schools are required to operate a meal service, and it's in the best interest of the school and the division to ensure that students are accessing the school meal and that your school is receiving reimbursements for meals. Competing foods take funds away from your school nutrition program, who are already on tight budgets. Here's another sample lunch tray showing the 5 meal components. Every lunch meal must offer specific portion sizes that vary by age or grade group for vegetables, fruits, meats, meat alternates, grains, and fluid milk. Breakfast meals are planned just a little differently in the required components and portion sizes. Let's dig in a little bit more on meal benefits and pricing for school meals. What I mean by benefits is the student or child's eligibility for free or reduced price meals. And pricing is referring to whether the school is charging for meals for students not eligible for free or reduced price meals. First, in pricing programs, households annually submit applications for free and reduced price meals. Students who are directly certified for free or reduced price meal benefits because they are matched to receiving nutrition assistance with another means tested program such as SNAP or TANF do not need to apply. Meals are provided to all students and households pay based on their eligibility status. In Virginia, there is money that has been designated in the state budget to pay the reduced price copay. So families who are eligible based on their income for reduced price meals do not pay for their meals, and the state kicks in reimbursement to the school for the copay, the amount that they could charge for this category. And in non-pricing programs, the most commonly used is the community eligibility provision. This allows high poverty schools to serve meals at no cost to all students. These schools establish a free and paid rate claiming percentage. The reimbursement is calculated based on the percentage of students categorically eligible for free meals because they also receive SNAP, TANF, or Medicaid. 121 of 141 Virginia public, private, and residential child care institutions participate in partial CEP or district-wide CEP. Did you know nationally, on average, for a free lunch, schools receive about $4.60 in reimbursement for that meal? That covers the cost of food and all those components that are required to be planned, prepared, and served. It also covers labor, equipment, and equipment repairs, supplies, their technology software, uniforms, etc. This is less than the cost of a latte at your local favorite coffee store or McDonald's Happy Meal and is way more nutrition. The more customers and participation in the nutrition services offerings, the better the programs can be or become. The more food security we see among students and better health and learning outcomes. Here are a few other ways you can support. Celebrate your school nutrition team during the National School Lunch Week, National School Breakfast Week, and National School Lunch Hero Day. They sure do appreciate any positive recognition for the work they put in and day out serving our kiddos. Now, Bea is going to share with you more about Virginia's Farm to School program.
Thanks, Sarah. Hey, everyone. This is Bea. I'm going to dive into Virginia Farm to School programs now. Virginia Farm to School encompasses a wide variety of activities that we categorize into 3 buckets or pillars. The first is local food procurement. The second is school gardens and student farms. And the third is nutrition and agriculture education. And I'm going to dive into these three pillars in the next few slides. Nutrition programs purchase or procure their own food with their own budgets. Local food procurement is when programs purchase locally grown and raised food for their meals. When nutrition programs use their funds to purchase local food, they invest their money in their communities and their local agriculture economy. Programs do not currently get any additional funding to purchase local food. Nutrition programs define their local radius based on their own program goals, and this happens at the division or county level. So for instance, one school division might define local as within a 100-mile radius of their county. Another school division might define local as food grown or raised within Virginia. One of our roles here at the VDOE is to help nutrition programs purchase local food and stay within compliance with federal regulations, especially related to federal procurement regulations. Child nutrition programs can purchase local food directly from farms, food hubs, or even distributors, and we even see instances where they're purchasing student-grown or raised food from the school garden or the student farm. On this slide, we have on the left some local peaches and chicken in Chesterfield summer program. They have a great summer site at the Chesterfield Farmers Market. In the middle is a hydroponic lettuce producer that sells year-round to Page County Public Schools. And then on the right is a student from Prince Edward County with a local chicken drumstick. The next pillar is school gardens and student farms. This doesn't have to be an elaborate garden that grows a ton of food. Even pollinator gardens, reading gardens, sensory gardens, etc. count as long as the students are engaged with them in some way. School gardens and student farms are a really great opportunity to engage with place-based education, and outdoor classrooms can help boost students' physical and mental health. Lessons that align with the standards of learning can help bring concepts to life for students. And food grown or raised by students, like I mentioned earlier, can be served in the cafeteria. If there's not enough food to be served to all students for a meal, you can still connect the dots between what the students are learning in the garden and what they're eating in the cafeteria. On this slide, we have Giles County Land Lab on the left. The school garden in the middle is in Harrisonburg City. And on the right, we have the Fauquier Education Farm on the top. And then on the bottom is a chicken in Charlottesville City school garden at their high school. Nutrition education can support lifelong well-being, and agriculture education teaches students where their food comes from before it reaches the grocery store or their lunch tray. We see these activities take place in the classroom, in the cafeteria, and even beyond, such as with field trips. Our website has some great resources, especially as it relates to our Harvest of the Month program. And Virginia Agriculture in the Classroom also has great resources and lesson plans that really help educators build nutrition and agriculture education into their curriculum. On the left of the screen, this is a poster we designed in partnership with Virginia Ag in the Classroom. In the middle is Lynchburg City, where they partnered with a dairy farmer to bring a dairy cow to their school. And after that, they did an indoor educational activity with the students. And then on the right is a photo from Matthew Whaley School Garden in Williamsburg, James City County. There are so many ways to engage with farm to school programs, and we hope you'll connect with a few of the opportunities here on your screen. The Virginia Farm to School Network, this is open to anyone looking to start, enhance, or grow their farm to school program. We have regional events, both in person and virtual, as well as a monthly newsletter, which includes information about events and grant opportunities and other ways to engage. At the end of this presentation, we'll show the QR code for the link to join the network. The Virginia Farm to School and Directors Conference, we're really excited for this conference. It's held every other year, and this year it will be in Richmond this September. You can find details related to registration and our call for proposals on our website, and we really hope you'll consider joining us. Virginia Farm to School Week, this is always the first full week of October every year. During this week, schools plan events related to the three pillars of Farm to School. And if you have any special events lined up for the week, please let us know. We'd love to celebrate alongside you all. The crunch heard around the Commonwealth. Many of you may have already participated or heard about this at some point. This year we'll be celebrating 10 years of the crunch. This is where schools purchase Virginia grown apples and everyone takes a bite at the same time, producing the celebratory crunch and making noise for Virginia Farm to School programs. Registration will open soon, and this year we look forward to providing posters and stickers directly to participating schools. We gave an overview of child nutrition programs and farm to school programs. Now let's dive into some strategies to help you engage with your nutrition program. So you're hoping to get involved with your school nutrition department, but you don't know where to start. We encourage you to first learn about the program by doing some background research. You now know more about the regulations that these programs are working within. For your individual school or division, look on their website, check out their menus, and read their local school wellness policy. We also encourage you to join your student for lunch. You'll then connect with the school nutrition director at the division or county level. You've learned that your school nutrition program is led at the county level, where they develop the menu and set the program goals. The program's then implemented at the school level. You can learn who your school nutrition director is by looking on your division's website, or you can visit our website where we also have that information. When you meet with the school nutrition director, ask them, what are their program goals? What are their barriers to reaching those goals? What are some areas of needed support? You'll then determine where your work and their goals align in order to best support them. For instance, if you want more local food on the menu and you have a great idea to bring in local sweet potatoes, but their biggest barrier is limited staff. They might not even have the staff capacity to cut, prepare, and cook all of those sweet potatoes. So in this case, you might need to identify strategies to support them with bolstering their staff before you can bring in local sweet potatoes. Find some common ground to see how you can best support the program with reaching their goals. Let's look at a few strategies and examples of how to get involved with your school nutrition program. Think about some ways you can volunteer to help your program meet their goals. Maybe your PTA could volunteer to conduct taste tests of new menu items. Perhaps you could organize or support special events like the Crunch or a student culinary competition. You could volunteer at your division's food show if they have one, or you can organize field trips. Some divisions even have student advisory groups to help the nutrition program develop menus in alignment with student preferences. Perhaps the PTA could organize the group. You can also support the program with fundraising, either to fund continuous programs or specific things. Some examples might be funding the school garden coordinator's position, which could ensure the longevity of the school garden instead of it being entirely volunteer-led. The PTA could fundraise to purchase school garden supplies or equipment to grow hydroponic lettuce, which could then be served to the students. If the nutrition program is trying to serve bulk milk, perhaps the PTA could support the purchase of a bulk milk dispenser or reusable cups. Or the PTA could raise money for breakfast carts or to help fund the summer meals bus. You can also serve as a vocal cheerleader for your program and the folks who show up day in and day out to feed students. You can amplify and share the great work that your nutrition program's doing, such as through social media or your newsletter. You could invite your school nutrition program to your meetings so they can share updates and their goals for the year. If you do invite them, think about combining PTA meetings with other schools so the school nutrition director doesn't need to attend individual school meetings, especially if you're from a large school division. And you can also show up to events and spread the word. These are just a few ideas to get started, but we encourage you to get creative and work alongside your nutrition program. We hope you'll visit our website to learn more about child nutrition programs in Virginia. Our website has a ton of great resources and trainings related to specific topics. We also hope you'll join the Virginia Farm to School Network to stay up to date on events and engagement opportunities. Joining the network is really the best way to get information about our upcoming conference, Virginia Farm to School Week, and Crunch registration details. Thank you all so much for joining us for this presentation. Please reach out to us with any questions you have. We look forward to continuing to work alongside you all to support child nutrition programs and expand access to nutritious meals for students throughout Virginia.